Good afternoon. I'm Mark Allen with Caper.io, and I'm here today with Vadim Peskov, the CEO and co-founder of Diffco. Good afternoon, Vadim.
Hello, hello.
How are you today?
Doing great. What about you?
I'm doing well. As you know, it's another beautiful day in the Bay Area, right? And we're about, 20 minutes apart?
Kind of.
Yeah, right down the 101.
Sure.
So to start with, can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Sure. Originally, so we started a company 12 years ago and was originally focusing a lot on software development. And currently, we mostly focus on things about AI development, computer vision development, and also different SDK products that we provide about same topic, basically. So do a lot of great solutions for enterprises and startups here in Bay Area, and working with a lot of different enterprises, creating a lot of systems like CRM ERP systems. But again, main focus is about specifically computer vision and different AI solutions.
Yeah, wow, that's very interesting stuff. So, and did you go to college in the U.S. or abroad?
No, I did it abroad, and I moved here already after, but here I just had additional education in Stanford. But beside this, it was a main part was previously.
Oh, interesting. That's a very fine school to go to, obviously. When did you move to the U.S.?
Oh, it was in already 7 years, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
it
wow.
was a long time ago.
Yeah, very good. So, what has been your experience with remote employment, both as an employee and an employer?
I mean, it's we originally set up to almost when we just started, like 12 years ago. We was doing a lot of remote work, and we didn't had an office for a while. Now we have few, but now it doesn't make any sense because everyone's staying at home, and offices just cause that you have a new bottom line. But in general, I work a lot with remote workers, and also obviously now we all remote workers, and everything is doing good with this. And again, it's a few things that you need to adjust in order to actually be more effective with remote work. And I think previously I was thinking this is like kind of a mindset that you need to be in order to be able to work from any location. Now I think everyone already in this mindset for sure.
One way or another, they're in the mindset. Some are still fighting it a little bit. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And so, does Diffco have offices in different parts of the world? When you said you had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, we have main office here in Sunnyvale in California, and we have also office in Europe. I was planning to open another one this year, but due to COVID, we we canceled this plan, and now even planning to maybe cancel or one of the offices because it doesn't make sense. No one there.
And you think even after the pandemic is over, you might say, hey, don't need an office, don't need that office.
It's does make a lot of sense in terms of like office is a good place to meet, and again, different type of people probably like work from office, and sometimes I'm visiting our office like just to maybe to pick up some stuff there that left there or something, and I'm like, oh, I actually missing working from the office, and I was thinking that I will say this, but especially with kids, sometimes you actually want to go to the office and work there. Then we will have this flexibility for people who actually want to work from home or they want to work from office. And again, we previously had a lot of people who traveled, and for us it was like, oh, okay, if you want to go to different location, okay, just please let us know where, so we'll know your specific time zone. But beside this, it's was totally fine.
Yeah, and if you're in Europe and the U.S., you obviously are dealing with time zones on a regular basis, so it's probably second nature to you now.
Yeah, it's definitely not a problem about timing, and it's changed because previously I was working late nights. Now I'm mostly working early mornings.
Yeah.
But again, it's totally fine, and it's not a big problem with the time zone difference. It's changing a few stuff, and you need to adjust, and you need to receive certain things in a certain time. And if you have a team that can handle this, it's totally fine.
Yeah. If I remember right, I had staff in Australia for a while, and I think it was 4 o'clock our time was 8 a.m. their time. So that was actually a nice beginning of their day was the end of our day. It actually worked out pretty well, even though they were a day ahead of us. But
yeah, I mean, we had funny situation with New Zealand because we in a certain time it's an option for you to have 3 days in the same time. One in Europe, one in New Zealand, and another in California. So basically, it was planning a call and was a little bit interesting to actually pick a date sometimes.
Yes, I would imagine. So what do you think is the future of remote employment, and what do you think can be done differently to make it more effective?
I'm sure it's actually will be a big topic because a lot of companies are changing their policies, how it's working, and what they do in terms of like Microsoft announced that they planning to go all remote. Basically, they probably still will have some offices, but anyway, and for sure, it's some people that will work in office for some different reasons. But I think it's the difference. I think will be that maybe companies will provide more options for you to actually do some things at home, or maybe they will be adding some like options for you to adding. I don't know. Maybe some big companies will provide something like additional for your rent, so you will have options to have a separate room for something because sometimes it's required for some project. Because like I know that, for example, Apple, when people working on a different type of prototypes of the products right now, they actually they should work in a closed room with no one there and with windows closed, etc., etc. So it's adding a lot of limitations that not all people maybe have in their home, and basically it's their home, and they can be living in a small apartment, they can be living in a big apartment, but now they forced to actually have a separate working space there, and sometimes it's problematic for some people. So it's making a lot of sense actually to for companies to help accommodate these things. And I'm sure there will be a lot of different tools, and we see a lot of new products that coming up regarding this topic.
Yeah, I agree. So what is the story behind Diffco? What is your actual product offering? Who's your target audience? All those things. How do you help them?
Yeah, so basically we mostly focus on again different type of AI development, and it could be different things regarding computer vision, different type of OCR recognition, so text recognition, or different recognition in terms of specific object recognition, for example. So we have contracts with government. We have contracts with different enterprises where we helping solve specific issues regarding object recognition and facial recognition, facial morphing, facial detection, anti-spoofing detection, all these things that we typically do. And our target audience, we target two markets basically. One is enterprises, and the second one is mainly about startups, and it's like a Series seed startups that we typically help and do a lot of work with them.
So are most of your customers tech, or are they all over?
I would say it's typically more technical companies rather than just regular enterprises. But I think we have like maybe 25% of them is not specifically in tech. But anyways, they want to move and do something in tech because it does make a lot of sense for them, especially right now, because it's actually, if you're not in tech right now, you're actually typically going out of the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you said you started Diffco 12 years ago, so and you had offices, so you've known the office environment. Did you slowly go to remote, or did you become a remote company in March of this year?
No, we actually had a lot of remote employees previously, so it wasn't a big deal. So for us, it doesn't change actually anything.
Mm.
So again, some of our employee was going to our office, some of them not, because they was in different location. Because we had few people that was just in a separate places, absolutely separate, and it was doesn't make sense for them to actually go and live in a different city, etc. So they was working remotely, absolutely. And again, for some of them was renting offices. For some of them, we was just providing some co-working space or something. And some of them just was working from home. So for us, it wasn't a big deal actually to switch to this format at all.
And that brings up the next question. I mean, the pandemic did force everybody to go remote. So you had some people that were in the office, you had customers, you had all those things to deal with. Did that cause any roadblocks or challenges that you didn't expect?
Customer, yeah. Customer, I think it's most challenging part because some of them actually was focusing on doing a lot of things regards to physical world, and they was actually forced to be in reality where it's actually they should close their stores or wherever they doing. And I think March was a little bit crazy because no one actually was understanding what is going on and how world will look like. In terms of specific, I think in terms of like April, everyone like realized that they should do something because if they do not do anything, they will probably die. So, and I think May was already almost the craziest. I think May for us, for example, was more active, and starting from May from now on, it's more active than it was on like a February, for example, because people realize that they definitely need to do something about it, and if they do not, they will definitely will go out of the business.
Yes, yes. So finally, there are companies like Gaper that help develop, build, and scale products, especially for startups. You're definitely past the startup stage if you've been in business for 12 years. But how important do you think this will be going forward for setups like Gaper and other companies that provide these services, where it's software development for hire or marketing for hire or whatever for hire? How important do you think that's going to be going forward?
You mean how it's important will be to be remote and be able to adapt to this, or what?
How important do you think it will be for companies as opposed to the old model where they had to hire people within their town so that they could come into the office, and now it's like, well, I don't have to do that, so now I can go, sub this out to a company in some other part of the world.
Yeah, I think it's actually making a lot of sense, and it's really helping to grow this economy because, like, in reality, we have a lot of borders in this world, and not specifically, I mean, not about physical borders. We have a lot of limitations in terms of like, oh, it's in different parts of the world, it's different time zone or something, and now we kind of live in a situation where we actually don't really care about time zones so
Right.
much because like I saw many companies that switched and was working more actively with a different part of the world than previously because actually in reality they was limited to specific timing in where they was in the office. Now they actually working not 8 hours a day. They typically work more. So sometimes it's actually helping. And I do believe it actually will increase productivity in some level. Again, depends on type of people. I think for tech companies, it's typically the case. When we're talking about more classic businesses, it's a little bit different use case. But for specific tech businesses, I think it will be a great option actually to succeed.
Yes, I agree. And I think one thing is you and I have benefited from it is that, in the Bay Area, it actually reduces traffic. So, right?
Yeah, so it's I think 2 times faster than previously.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure, it's actually really helping. Not a lot of people travel. Actually, it's not the same in LA. So in LA, still a lot of traffic.
Really?
Yep. I
Wow.
was there a few weeks ago. Still a lot of traffic.
Wow.
Almost the same.
That's amazing. And I know LA, I've been down there. It is crazy. I mean, don't even, the 405 is a parking lot in the afternoon.
No, no, no. Yeah, I have one friend who actually flying from one a part of LA to another sometimes on his plane because it's just faster.
Wow. That tells you something about the traffic there.
Yep.
Well, Vadim, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been very enlightening. In case you ever want to come up to Foster City, this picture behind me is actually sunset in Foster City one day last week.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
you're about
That's
20
very
minutes
nice.
from here. Yeah, if you want to see a nice sunset, come on up. I would assume you get some nice ones in Sunnyvale too, down in Mountain View, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Well, have a
Thank
great
you.
day and thank you again.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Bye.